Well, let's get straight into the meat and potatoes of the show, Jonathan.
Right, yeah.
Where are you in your significant events?
All right. So I ran into some problems.
Oh,
I have to tell you, I ran into some problems.
what have we got? This
So,
is this is normal. This is normal. I mean, I ran into problems this week too, and I had to sit there and just research and I think I think the approach that we took to significant birthdays is a unique approach
mhm,
because you were learning, obviously, right?
mhm.
But it's probably not the way that you would normally develop. And so I would attribute to the way that you learned on significant birthdays is probably what we can blame for the problems that you ran into.
Okay.
I think the address book approach that we're taking is probably going to be a little bit more realistic in the real world, and that may be an easier model for you to follow. But let's see where you got stuck, and we'll see if we can get you unstuck during the show. So we started a little separate project
Yeah,
and
this
it's
is
an address book, right?
yeah,
So
a little bit more complicated.
a little bit more, I would say, if we have a if we call the if we were to give t-shirt sizes to the significant birthdays and significant events, if those were a small t-shirt, I think this would probably be a small to medium size t-shirt. It's kind of in between, not quite the medium, but it potentially could be a medium, but it's like I think it's still in between. But what do we got so far?
So far, I believe we just have like the nav bar, and that's basically it, right?
Do we have so the collapse menu, everything works? Let's fire it up and see where we're at.
All right. Where are we at? Um,
I think it's control tilde, or if you go to the terminal, you can open up a terminal.
okay. Oops. All right. Yeah, just the nav bar.
All right, so you can click in between list and create.
Mhm. Oh, it doesn't work there yet.
Oh, okay. So we got to fix that.
Whoops.
So we have to fix that. So
We
we
have
have,
our placeholders. Just
yeah,
click create.
and then we have to fix the hamburger menu, right?
Mhm.
All right. I think I can help you out with that, Jonathan.
All right.
So there's a couple of things that we need to do, and let's see here. It's in my app. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to toggle between this project and significant birthdays. So if you
Okay.
open up significant birthdays as well, I think once you see the code in that app.js file, it's going to jog your memory. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember. Go ahead and maximize this window as well. And you can collapse your file menu, your files. Yeah, go and collapse that. It gives you a little bit more real estate. So let's toggle between, let's go back to the address book, to the Guntax app. It sounds German. So we have a function app, right?
Wait,
On
this is
line 14.
sorry. Context. There it is.
Oh, go ahead and collapse your files on your left.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so we have a function app on line 13. Sorry. So line 13, we have a function app. And immediately we return the router. So if you collapse line 15, that's essentially what we return, right? We return the router, and that router is what handles our menu, displays the menu navigation on top and the whole thing, right? Go ahead and expand that. But that's not exactly what we want. We want some functionality. We want to be able to interact with this in a different way. And one of the ways that we want to interact is with the hamburger menu. So go ahead and toggle back to the birth dates. And if you find the line with the function app on line 14, you'll notice that we have a constant. And that constant has two variables, and it has use state, right? Remember we did something with is nav collapse?
Oh, yeah.
Set. Oh, did the room just get brighter? A light bulb went on. I would say let's go ahead and type this out. I think it's worth the effort of typing it rather than copying it. The muscle memory that'll be built in your mind is going to be a lot more valuable than if you were just to copy this, right? So line 15, memorize it, take a mental picture of it.
Constant is nav collapse. Set is nav collapse. Use state true. Cool.
And go type that over into the Goontalks app.
After functions, I'm going to do constant.
And inside the square brackets. Square brackets, yeah, we have is nav collapsed. So in other words, we're asking the question, is the navigation collapsed, right? And that'll be a lowercase I on is.
Is nav collapse.
And then we're doing a comma. Set is nav collapse. So in other words, we're going to get a method, and that's a lowercase s. Yep. Is nav collapsed. And that's going to be equal to use state, lowercase use, uppercase state. And we're going to pass in a default value. We're going to open parentheses, and the value that we want to pass in is true. It is collapsed. And then we finish that off with the semicolon, and we remove the space between use state and
true.
True. There we go. So what does this do? So let's look at it. Okay. Use state is a function that we say our initial state value is going to be true. So that use state is going to return two values back. The first value is the nav collapsed? And we've told it what is the value by setting it to true. We could put whatever we want. We could put a 1, we could put a 2, we can put the name Jonathan in there, we can put the name Victor, we can put whatever we want. But what that represents is the initial value of is nav collapsed. And we're just saying, if you ask the question, is nav collapsed? Yeah, true, it is collapsed. The second value that it returns is a function called set is nav collapsed. So that function, when we call it, we then set the new value of what is nav collapse supposed to be. Does that make sense? So that's what the use state is essentially is doing for us. It gives us the initial value, and it gives us a method or a function that says, hey, use this function if you want to change that default value from your state.
Okay.
But it's just holding a value, and it gives us a function to change that. That's all it's doing. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, we need to assign, we need to be able to click the button right on line 21 and say, hey, when you click this, go and change the value of is nav collapse, right? So let's go down to the button. Can you do me a favor, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Can we go ahead and set each one of these on the button? So put class on its own line, class name on its own line,
Okay.
and then and indented.
Got it. Oh, there we go.
And then go ahead and put type on its own line. And then data BS toggle. Yeah. Aria. Yeah. All
There we
right.
go.
Okay. So after Aria label, but before the closed ankle bracket, go ahead and press enter again. So there's an event on this button called on click. So when somebody clicks this, we tell it go and execute this function. And that function, we can call it, you're going to put it inside of curly braces. That function, we're going to call it handle nav collapsed, because that's essentially what it's going to do, right? It's going to toggle that nav collapsed. So this is a function that doesn't exist. We just can't call functions out of thin air. So after line 14, give me a couple of empty lines. An empty, yeah. All right. And then on line 16, we'll start our handle nav collapsed. So that's going to be a constant.
Oh.
Okay. And then using the fat arrow function, this is equal to, well, actually, we don't need the fat arrow just yet. This is going to be equal to a function. So you're going to do the open close parenthesis. And inside the open close parenthesis, you're going to receive an event. So we can call it E, or we can call it EVT. No, you don't need to separate it into a separate line. We call it E, that's fine. And now use the fat arrow function.
Oh, whoops.
Okay. That's where we're going to go in there. And we're going to go and handle. So you can see where the on click and the handle nav collapse, how they connect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in here, E represents the button. So the button is basically calling this handle nav collapse and says, by the way, here I am. So whatever you need from me from this button, you can access it through that parameter. And it's just called an event, okay? What we need to do is, because these buttons can do some extra things that we don't want it to do, we want to tell it to prevent default. So we want to say E dot prevent default on line 17.
Oh.
And prevent default lowercase p, uppercase default. And then open close parentheses, semicolon. Okay, so this prevents the button from doing anything that it would normally do. So you just say, hey, prevent any default behavior that you normally do. The next thing that we want to do is we want to grab the value of, let's see here. No, we don't need to grab any value. Essentially, what we need to do is we just need to call set is nav collapsed.
Okay.
Remember, that's that function on line 14 that useState has given us.
Set.
And then open parenthesis. No space, yeah. Open parenthesis. And then whatever is nav collapse currently is, we want to reverse that. Remember how we reverse it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is nav collapsed?
Yeah. That's it.
Equals.
No, that's it. Just semicolon.
Okay.
That's it. We're done with that and get rid of those 2 empty lines. Pretty straightforward, huh? Let's go compare that to what we have over in the birth dates.
So we have the set.
Oh,
and then-
okay. Well, actually, you know what? I guess that's okay. I mean, we didn't use the E, and I guess we don't have to do that prevent default for whatever reason,
Mhm.
but it's probably good practice. So either way works. You got both flavors,
Mhm.
all right? So I think we're good.
Cool.
It's the same thing. The only thing is that if you're not gonna have more than one line, you don't need the curly braces.
Oh, okay.
That's the only difference. So, but in this case, because we have that prevent default, we'll need those curly braces. So we have that, okay? So let's go back and recapture. Use state gives us these 2 values.
Yeah.
Which one's this one?
This is
Guntax?
Untax, yeah.
Okay. So use state on line 14 gives us these 2 values. Our initial state value is nav collapse, and a function called set is nav collapse. We go down to our button, scroll down just a couple lines. Okay, so we have the on click on line 32.
Mhm.
The on click, when somebody clicks that button, somebody clicks that menu, we're going to call handle nav collapse. Handle nav collapse is up a little bit. Handle nav collapse starts at line 16,
Mhm.
which is a function that receives a parameter, which is an event. We say, hey, whatever default behavior you normally do, prevent that from happening. And after you've done that, go ahead and call set is nav collapse, which is the function that we get from use state. And whatever is nav collapse currently is, because that function is going to call or is going to set the value to is nav collapse to whatever new value you're setting it to. So essentially, we're just toggling it, right? The problem is that now that we've set that, now we have to use it. You remember how we tested it to see what values changed in the navigation menu? We went to bootstrap.com and we went and we put it into an empty file. We launched it and it was like, what's changing in there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have to do, oh, do you still have that? Maybe we just use that.
I don't remember.
Go ahead and right click on Visual Studio Code and see if maybe it comes up on that list.
Example.
VS5 example. I think that's it. Yeah, and then you could right click on this, launch it with open with Live Studio or Live Server. Sorry. I'm over here making up words.
All right. It was on the console.
No, it was right there in the elements. Yeah, so if you expand the body and expand nav class and expand the div, expand
The button.
Well, let's see right here. Actually, the next one, the nav collapse. Yeah, that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and toggle that button, see what changes. All right, so on the button class, nav toggler, that's toggled between collapsed. Toggle it again. You see that?
Yeah.
So we have to go and handle that change first. So button class, nav toggler. And we need to change that to what? Collapsed?
Collapsed, yeah.
So if is nav collapse, if that's equal to true, we need to have that collapse class in there.
Okay.
So let's go put that in there. So, and your button, yep, on line 27.
Toggler.
Yeah, so let's grab that toggler. Let's go ahead and cut that toggler, nav bar toggler. Not the whole class name, not the whole line, just a nav bar toggler. Let's go and cut that. And get rid of your double quotes and we're going to use the back tick, which is the little tick. Yeah, that. And I believe that you're going to have to put that. You're going to have to put that inside of curly braces.
Okay.
There we go. And now go ahead and paste nav bar toggler. There you go. And then go ahead and put a space after R. Hang on. We that's a conditional, right? That's going to come up on a condition. So go ahead and put a space. And then you're going to put open close parenthesis. Open close parenthesis. Wait. Let me think about this for a second. Get rid of those. Let's go ahead and do a $sign and then open up curly braces. Remember, this is the string interpolation thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then inside of parentheses, I wonder if you need the parentheses. Maybe you don't. No, you know what? Get rid of those. Sorry. Maybe you don't need them. Just put is nav collapsed? And then you'll do space question mark, space, and inside of double quotes, type in collapsed. And then outside the double quote, put a colon, space, empty quotes. So this is basically an if statement, okay? What you're doing is you're evaluating. You're saying if is nav collapse equals to true, add nav collapse, else just giving an empty string, okay? And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to go ahead and save this, and then we're going to go and inspect to make sure that this is working.
Okay.
Oh, wait, use state, you got an error.
Oh.
Use state is not defined. We have to import it.
Use state is not defined. Import.
So use state is going to be, there you go. That's exactly it right there. It has to be inside of the curly braces.
Cool. All right.
All right.
This isn't it. There it is. I was like, wow, that was cool. Oh, no.
Well, remember, there's going to be other things, right? We just want to see if this is toggling correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and go back to the phone.
Oh.
And then expand the body. Expand, over here on the right-hand side where it says body, expand the body. And expand, yeah, and expand the nav bar. And expand the container. We have to go all the way, we have to drill all the way down to the button.
Okay.
Okay, so in here, we should see that nav toggler toggle. So let's go ahead and click on that button.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's working.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the BS5 example and let's see what other things we need to change.
Right here, we have area expanded.
Toggle it again. All right, so area expanded, and that's also on the button, right? And so we need to change that to true. So is it true and false? Can you go back to that example for a moment? It toggles between true and false, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we have to do the same code, except this time we're going to toggle between true and false.
So navbar was
line 31.
31. False. Okay.
So in here, we want to do the same thing that we did on line 28, but we're going to toggle between true and false.
Oops.
It's the back ticks.
Ticks.
Yeah. I think we just need a true and false, right?
Oh,
So what we want to do is we're not going to use a nav toggler. We're going to use starting from the $sign.
true. Oh no, it stayed at false first.
No, so you're evaluating the if nav is nav collapse, right?
Hmm.
So this one's kind of weird because is nav collapsed is true. Therefore, we return a false.
Okay.
Otherwise, we return a true. So it's kind of
Weird.
it is weird. And you got to get rid of the last parenthesis at the end of the line.
Oh. Oops. Lost my tick.
Yeah, get rid of the parenthesis.
Parenthesis.
The curly brace needs to go outside. Yeah, there you go. So let's go see if this works. And I'm going to show you a shortcut to this. Oh, wait. Go back. You need to toggle it between true and false.
Oops.
Floss. Class. Okay, let's do that.
All right, so we have the button right here. True.
All right, so it is changing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's working. I think we're good on that.
The last thing is the class.
All right, let's go look at the class. What do we need to change in there?
It's the navbar collapse show.
So we just need to add a show to there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go to it, Jonathan.
Navbar collapse. So we start.
So I would start by cutting the nav bar collapse, cut that out and get rid of the double quotes.
Get rid of the double quotes. Okay.
And then put in your backticks. There you go. And now put in your collapsed and your nav bar collapsed.
Oh wow.
Did it go back to the browser? I thought it had dashes in between.
Navbar collapse. Yeah. You're right. Oops.
And I'm not sure, but I think the order matters. All right.
Be the dollar symbol. Curly brace. And it's doing the navbar collapse. Is nav collapse. Toggling between. What was it? True? Or
Can you go check I think it's show.
okay.
So if it's true, go ahead and collapse it.
Oh,
So that state is true because it's collapsed, right? Which means we don't show the word show.
mhm.
But when you click on it, is collapsed, is nav collapse equals false, which means we do show it. So now it's going to be reversed, right? So if it's true, don't show anything. If it's false, then show.
Show. All right.
Let's give that a run for the money.
All right. There it is.
I think it's backwards.
Oh, so collapse has to be first.
No. I think we got something. You see how the nav, so the button nav toggler, that's collapsed right now. That's equal to true. So that's collapsed. When do we show the collapse? So those are out of line right now because it's showing the menu. So right now, those are kind of backwards. Right now, the button, the aria expanded, and the div class nav bar collapse show is not lined up to how it should be. So let's go look at. So right now, go ahead and collapse that menu. So nav bar toggler should be collapsed. Area expanded should be false. And the div should not be showing the class show. Okay, so let's go. So nav bar toggler collapsed. It's equal to false, and it should not be a show. So let's go back to ours.
So nav bar is collapsed.
So
right.
if it is collapsed, it should say collapsed. If it is collapsed, it should say false, otherwise true. So I think those are backwards. False. True. Okay, let's try that. Boolean logic, man. It's the worst. Okay, so what's going on here? Why are we showing? So what is the, go ahead and click on it. Let me look at, so right now expanded equals false. So right now it should be true. We're missing something. What are we missing? Did we remove something? No, we didn't remove anything, huh?
No.
Okay, let's go back to the code. Well, let's go back to that example and let's expand that UL and see what else is in there. Make sure that nothing else is changing in there.
Style. Is it? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Whoa, wait, but that should have. I don't think that's something that we did. Can we go and, what was that?
Yeah, I don't think it's something that we did either.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that. Okay, let's go back to the code and look at it for a moment here. Can we compare this to significant birth dates and see what the difference is?
At the button.
Okay, so the aria is there. And then we have the isNav collapsed. Oh, how do we have on line 40? How do we have our setup? Isnav collapsed. Isnav collapsed. Oh, wait. Oh, can you go back to the birthday ones? I believe that line 36 is equivalent to our line 40.
Toggle navigation.
No, line 40.
40. Oh,
So it's either collapsed or it's not collapsed.
okay.
So let's go ahead and put that collapsed where the show is at and get rid of show. And then get rid of the collapse that's in the center.
This one.
Yeah, you can copy that one because I think you misspelled it.
Oh,
All right, let's try that. See what that does. It's kind of interesting that.
oh,
Did you refresh it? Try to refresh the page.
yeah.
Still not working, huh?
Hmm.
Let's expand so that we can see what's changing again.
Oh,
Yeah, we can't see the changes. What do we got? Okay. So let's see here. So go ahead and click on it. Aria expanded true. Click on it again. Navbar toggler collapsed. And then go ahead and click on it again. Navbar collapsed. What other changes did we make? Can we look at the significant birth dates? The UL is there. The class name. Oh, I wonder if this is the worst when the code is exactly the same and it still doesn't work.
what's going on?
Okay, I'll tell you what. You see that line 30, go back to where you were at. Right. Yeah, right there. See that line 35? Let's copy that line. Aria expanded. And paste it right into there. Clearly, we've mistyped something. All right. And let's go back to the other one. Oh, this is interesting. We didn't do anything with navbar toggler. You see the class name navbar toggler in line 30?
Oh, okay.
Let's go back to ours.
Collapse.
Let's get rid of that. Let's just copy that other code.
Just delete this, right?
No, just copy the other code.
Oh,
Yeah, it's going to be easier because this is working.
oops.
Oh, you got an extra tick in there.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. And let's go back and look at the equivalent of line 36. That would be line 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's copy everything from class name to the curly brace. The second curly brace at the bottom.
Oh.
Copy that and paste that over there. Let's try it. I mean, we're taking it from somewhere where it's working.
All right. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Cool.
A lot of times you just got to copy and paste. And let's make sure that our list and create is still toggling. Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay, now there's one more thing, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get out of this phone situation. Uh-oh. What happened?
What?
Are we not wide enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So you see how list, when you click between list and create is like a gray color and
Yeah.
list is like a black color, right? There was something. Can we go down to your links? There was something that I added. Oh, yes. So the link comes with an extra attribute called active class name, all lowercase.
Okay. Do I put that in the front?
You can put it after on line 40, you can put it after class name, nav link active outside the parenthesis. I mean, outside of the double quote before the aria current. Yeah. Active class name, all lowercase, all one word. And this is something that's actually built in to the React router. Okay. And this is going to be equal to, and then double quote, copy or cut and paste the word active from the class name. Cut that puppy out and paste it over there. And you're going to add the same thing to the next one.
All right.
Now let's go back, save this, and let's go back and see the behavior now. So now you see how one is darker than the other when you're selecting it?
Yeah.
That is actually built in to work with Bootstrap, and it's built right into React Router.
Cool.
So we don't have to do anything with that. We don't have to toggle that active. It just says, hey, whenever this menu is active, go and apply this class to it. So you can apply any class, doesn't have to be a Bootstrap class, but that's essentially what that does. So that made the navigation a little bit more user-friendly. And now we have it so that when we have something created, we can, we can actually do something with it. So,
cool.
All right, let's go and create our list. We'll put a dummy list together. Let's go into the list component.
Lists.
Yeah. So let's go look at birthdays and see how we did that.
This one was in
Birthday list.
birthday lists.
Yeah, let's go to the top and what do we got? So first of all, we need to look at our imports, right? What is the most important import that we need here? We need at least Bootstrap. So let's go ahead and copy that line 4 and bring it into our
import that puppy.
That's right. This is a good place to start. Let's just go look at the table and see how that table comes together. So yeah, we don't have to worry about the state or the handle click. Let's go down further to where the table starts on the render. There we go. Here we go. This is what we want. It's a Z table or a table? I think it's supposed to be table. Okay, well, we can start. I think what we need to do is we need to start with our container, our row, and then our column. And then we can start bringing in the table itself. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
So let's go back to the other code.
Mhm.
So you see how we have div, h3, all that?
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and get rid of h3 and line 8 and 10. Let's get rid of that. And the proper way to work with Bootstrap is to start with a container, right? So on line 7, the class name should be container. No, the class name.
Oh,
It's a div still, but we just need a class name. Class name.
last name. Go.
It equals, and then inside of double quotes, container. So remember, this is the proper way of using Bootstrap, right? We always start with a container, and then on line 8, we do another div. And that class name is going to be a row.
With
No, so the class name will be a row. Equals row. Now, on line 7, I think you misspelled container.
spell it. Whoops. There we go. Oh, damn it.
Yep, that's it. Okay, and then we have another div, and its class name is going to be a column. So remember, Bootstrap works on a 12-column system, right? And so you give it 12 columns within a row and then inside of a container. So every container can have multiple rows. And then within every row, you can have multiple sizes of columns. You know, you can say, hey, out of the 12, I only want 3. So go ahead and span 3 columns and stuff like that. But here we're going to have 1 column that spans all 12 columns.
Okay.
So go ahead and close that ankle bracket. All right. And now we can start our table. So go ahead and press enter. And let's put our table. All right. And according to Bootstrap, its class is going to be table. All right, let's go look at what else is in that table from the significant birthdays.
Table stripe, table hover.
Yep, let's put those in there.
Then inside the table, looks like we have a table heading. Inside the table heading is a table row. This is where we start the address stuffs.
Yeah, so let's go look at what Google address book is, or the Google contacts. let's go look at what they're displaying.
So it's name, email, phone number.
Okay, let's do that. Well, let's go look at how the birth dates is. Go look at the birth dates.
Oh, inside the table row, there's a table heading.
That's right. I don't know why they call it TH. It should be like CH for column header, you know?
Another one. Or the email. Or are we going to do address?
Email.
And phone number.
Phone, yeah. Is it just phone or phone number?
Phone number.
Phone number. There you go. All right. And then where do we put in our data?
The data.
After the T head is the T body, right?
Yeah. All right.
So let's focus on the T body after T head. T body. Okay. And then, so let's go look at your code for a second. So here, because we're iterating through an array, but normally you would just have the TR and the TD for each one of the fields that matches the TH.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and hard code those for now. We're trying to get the style in. We'll come back and we'll redo this piece. That makes sense?
Kind of.
So let's go ahead and do a TR. And then go ahead and put a TD. And then that's going to be a name. So that'll be Mickey Mouse. And you can put it all in one line. You don't have to separate it into separate lines.
And it's going to be what? Mickey Mouse?
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse.
Mouse.
Mouse. And what's his email? Mickey@disney.com.
Yeah.
Sniddy. And then what's his phone number? 213 or is it 323?
I like 213.
555. One, two, 1, 2. And then we need to create another record for Minnie. So these tag names kind of make sense, except for TH on 13, 14, and 15. Those are the only ones that don't make sense to me. Because you have the table, you have the T head, you have the T row for the T head, and then the table header. And then you got the T body, the T row, and the table data. So those make sense except for the TH. That's the only one that doesn't make sense to me. And then her number is 555 2121. She got a different extension.
There we go.
And then let's add one more for Donald Duck, and we'll call it a day.
Oops.
You can probably just copy 24 through 28. And paste it in there.
Mr. Donald Duck.
All right, let's save this and let's see it in action. We'll try to get the formatting.
Our list has.
Whoa, that's a pretty sexy list there.
Yeah.
How about we put a header up on top, like contact list or something?
Okay.
So inside of your container after line 7, you're going to start a new div with a class name row.
A new div.
And then another column, a div with the class name column. And then maybe like an H3 with contacts. All right, let's save that and see what it looks like.
Cool.
It would be nice if that contacts was in the center, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
So let's do a quick Google search.
Oh.
I got the answer, but I'm going to make you go through it. Center content.
So it's going to be text justify.
Yeah, try that.
All right. It's going to be inside the container, right?
No, you don't want to do it in there. Do it inside the H3. See where that gets us. You want to be very specific to what you're trying to justify, right? And remember, this is a class.
Oh.
Class name for React. All right, let's save it and see what we got.
Nothing.
Okay, so let's go and do that. Let's move that class name, that text justified. Let's move it up to the column. Yeah, so you put it inside next to column.
Oh, next to column.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, because you're applying multiple classes to that. Let's see what that gets us.
Save it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, didn't do it. Interesting. Oh, wait a second. Can you go back to the Bootstrap documentation?
Oh, text center. That'll probably do it. Duh.
I think justify is just kind of justifying the
Left.
whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll do it in here again.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah.
There you go. We can make it bigger. You can make it an H2 or an H1. See which one. Play around with it. See which one's better.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Very cool. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to abstract the data to an array, because that's essentially what we're going to receive from the API, right?
Mhm.
So let's go back into the code. And let's go ahead and set, go all the way to the top. Inside of the, after line 5, inside the constant list.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, you had it right. Let's create a constant and we'll call it contact list. And that's going to be equal to an array. So an array is square brackets. Square. Those are curly. All right. And then let's go ahead and put a semicolon at the end of that. Okay, so inside the curly brackets, go ahead and press enter. And we're going to put 3 objects in there. So we're going to say, we're going to go ahead and open up curly braces. Yeah, curly braces. And you can just keep it in one line. You don't have to separate it to multiple lines. And you could say name, colon, and then inside of quotes, it's Mickey Mouse, comma, email, colon. So you need quotes around that. And then email, colon, lowercase email, yeah. And then Mickey at Disney, so on and so forth.
Would I put phone number as 2 words?
No, you can just put a phone number and you can just put capital N, capital number. And to get some real estate, you can close your files. There you go. And then outside of that curly brace, on line 7, comma, and you're going to do the same thing for Minnie, and then again for Donald.
Okay. So you start off with curly brace, name.
You can press enter at that point so that you can put that in a separate line. So each record will be on its own line.
Yep.
If you want, you just copy that row and then paste it. All right. So Perfection. All right, so let's go look at where we start iterating through that array in the birth date list. And we need to do the same thing on this one. So go to the code for the birth date list. See how on the T body starts off with the curly brace,
Mhm.
and then here you have this dot state dot birth dates dot map. In this case, you're just going to take contact list dot map.
Contact list dot map. Okay.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
go.
So yeah, so you can go ahead and yeah, after T body, open your curly brace and then press enter. And then contact list dot map, because that's your array that you're dealing with, right?
Mhm.
And then go look at the code from that point where we're at.
LM. So it's a parentheses LM in. Okay.
And then parentheses again, because it's a function that has two parameters,
Mhm.
LM and index. So it's basically, it's a function that receives two parameters. One of them is the element, the other one is the index. And then that turns into a fat arrow function in between the two parentheses. Yep, fat arrow function. Curly braces.
Curly brace return.
Yep. And then so return, then you open up. So let's go check out the code. There you go. Yeah. Yep.
And that's a table row key index.
Yep. The key is inside the ankle bracket.
Got it.
And index is inside of the curly braces.
Curly braces.
Yeah, because it's a variable.
There we go.
There you go. Now we're cooking with fire.
Inside the TR is a TD.
Mm-hmm. And then inside of those two, you can leave it in one line. You don't have to separate them because they're small values.
Mhm.
So here is where you're going to take the values from the element, right, which is represented by LM. So you're going to grab LM dot name. But remember, these are variables. So you got to put them inside the curly braces. You got to put the whole thing inside curly braces.
Oops.
What is Cora barking at?
Everyone's getting home now.
Oh. All right. Then we need a new TD with LM dot email and then LM dot phone number after that.
Cool.
All right, let's save that and see what it looks like.
Doubled up.
Double up is right. We just need to get rid of the other static T rows, right? Let's go ahead and do that.
So from 40 all the way down. There we go. Cool.
Excellent. So I think this is a good stopping point. I mean, where we want to go for next in the next episode is we're going to have to populate that array. So if you go up to the top, right, the constant contact list, right, is an array. So array is represented by curly braces. I mean, by square brackets. And everything inside the curly braces is considered an object, and we separate them with the comma, right? So we say, hey, this contact list has 3 objects, and each object has name, email, phone number. And we just iterate it using the map, which is an array function. And we just say, hey, just go and display this for every element that we get. Just go and display the same information, and that's what the map does. It just sits there and circles through all the records. It's just like record 1, record 2, record 3. And it says, here's the element and here's the index. And you take that and you display it, and it just continuously runs through the array until it reaches the end. And then it does it no more. And you display all your records. And so what we need to do, we'll do this in our next episode, is we're going to take this contact list, but we're going to need to get it from an API.
Let's do it.
So we'll do that next week in the next episode.
Sounds good.
And then hopefully you'll have your API for Zignificant events, and then it'll just be a big API party.
We're going to be APIing.
We're going to be API. That's right. I like the words that are coming out of this one. New vocabulary. Cool. I think this is a good place to stop. We're winning.
Yeah.
All righty. Any final words?
Yeah. Let's get APIing.
Right. All right. Until next week.
Yeah. Peace out on roadtocode.
That was cool.